So, am I right, or am I completely talking out of my butt? Like, comment, and subscribe to find out. Hope you guys enjoy these predictions. What are some of the predictions you guys have for the 2018 season? Let me know in the comment section down below. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Now, let's go make a difference, everybody.
How's it going, everyone? It's your boy Glenn with facial hair here.
Glenn, shut up.
And it's time to look back at my predictions for the 2018 NASCAR season. And it's time to look back at my predictions and to see how right or how wrong was Griffdawg.
Griffdawg, come on, man. Where's the summer showdown?
So let's look at the very first prediction and let's figure out.
Where is he?
Anyway, so let's look at the first prediction here and let's.
Where's my Mikey? Where's Mikey at?
For crying out loud, you know, I'm working on that, okay? I'm working on that stuff. I'm working, and I don't know where Mikey is. He's probably out winning the Daytona 500, or for all I know, he's probably serving tacos to people in purple cars. You know, I don't know.
Do you want a taco?
But anyway, let's just push that to the side for now. I know I have been working on it for a while, but let's talk about my predictions. How right or how wrong was I? So prediction number one was my Daytona picks. Who was going to win the very first race of the year for all three series? So for the truck series, I said Brett Moffitt. On lap 73, everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. He crashed, I cried, and that was one of my predictions that I didn't get. Thanks, Brett. I appreciate it. I know it's not your fault, but regardless, I appreciate it nevertheless. Oh, by the way, Brett Moffitt finished 26 in the race, just so if you were curious, if you wanted to know. On the Xfinity side, I said Matt Tifft. Unfortunately, Matt Tifft never really was a contender throughout the entire Xfinity race. I honestly thought the Xfinity race was going to be a little bit more, exciting, but that never happened. And so he finished 19th. He did finish on the lead lap, but again, just never was a contender. And then finally, on the Cup side, I said Kyle Busch. What happened to Kyle Busch? Well, bad news, good news. The bad news was he had problems early. He had a tire going down early, and then he got into a wreck, like shortly thereafter. The good news? He was the last car to finish on track. 25th, but he was on track nevertheless. So, congrats Kyle Busch. Thank you again for making one of my predictions wrong. Greatly appreciate it. Alright, that was bad, but we can get better. I know we can get better. Let's move on to prediction number 2. How many flips were there in each series? Let's start with the trucks. I said 0. And guess what? There was 0. No trucks flipped at all in the season, and I got a prediction right. Now, sure, some trucks did get airborne, but that's it. Just some trucks getting airborne, some trucks hitting the inside wall hard, but no one flipped. And thus, one of my predictions is right. Now, don't get me wrong, flipping is bad, and I understand it's not good to see a truck flip. But I was curious to see how many actually do flip. Now, on the Xfinity side, I said 1. That part was right, and I'm happy about that. That's another prediction I got right. But I ran my mouth, and I was wrong on where. Instead of happening at Talladega, which was a fairly tame race. I mean, there were some wrecks and whatnot, but I never got super crazy to see a car flip. No, that honor went to Daytona. And the 60 team, or also known as the Crash team, was picked up on his side and flipped up and over twice. And thus, that is my one flip from the Xfinity series. So, Austin, I know you had an awful season in the 60 car, but you did something right, and you gave me one of my predictions right. So, hey, that's something you gotta work, or that you earned, right? Now, on the Cup side, what I predicted was... boy. On the Cup side, I said there were going to be 2 flips. One was going to be the Daytona 500, which, yeah, there were some wrecks, but no one flipped. And then the other one I said Michigan. Why? Why pass me? Why did you say, oh, Michigan is going to have a lot of flips, or a flip? No. In fact, nothing really happened in that race. Nothing against Michigan, and I'm pretty sure Gino was right, and going there is fantastic. But on TV, it was a fairly tame race, you know? And thus, my prediction was wrong. So, the only time a car did flip was not even in a race, it was in a practice. Jamie McMurray, he got turned, he got picked up by Ryan Newman, who, you know, has the honor of now having literally every car on top of him. And he went up and over lots of times. Jamie McMurray did. So, Jamie McMurray flips. That is 1. I didn't get the prediction. Hoorah. Let's move on to the next one. Prediction number 3. I said, who was going to finish 20th in points in all 3 seasons? Yeah, this one's odd, but hey, it matches my personality, right? So, on the truck side, I had Norm of the North Benning. He was going to finish 20th in points. I was not off. He finished 22nd in points. But who did finish 20th? Jennifer Jo Cobb. That's right. She finished in the top 20 in points with finishing 20th. So Joe, good job. And Norm, I hope you get 20th next year. I'm definitely looking out for you for that huge comeback at Eldora again. On the Xfinity side, I said Joey Gase. Before I mention where Joey Gase finished, I will mention who finished 20th in points. And that honor goes to Joey Gase. Got him. So yeah, I got one right, dead on. So Joey Gase, sucks that you could not have done better, but good job, Joey. You helped me be a little bit smarter, and I greatly appreciate that. Now on the Cup side, I was wrong, but I was also right on one aspect. So I picked Alex Bowman to finish 20th in points. He did surprise me by going into the playoffs. He finished last in the playoffs, but he did make it based on points, which I am very surprised about. So who finished 20th? Jamie McMurray. Which kind of stinks because he's out of a ride next year, which I'll talk more about later. But as for Alex Bowman, finishing 16th, but the part I did mention right was this.
And I honestly don't think he's going to win a race at all this season, and because of that, I have him 20th in points.
So I get a pity point. It's little, but you know what? Hey, he said Alex Bowman didn't win a race. Alex Bowman, in fact, did not win a race. So, you know what? I'll take it. I'll take that point, and I will go. But not yet, though. I still have to go through all these other predictions. Prediction number 4 was who I had winning the most races in all 3 series. On the truck side, I said Noah Gragson. Nope. Noah was 4 short of meeting his quota. He only won once at Kansas. Good. No, I love being wrong. I love being wrong. Being wrong is great. So who did win the most races? It was a tie between Johnny Sauter and Brett Moffitt with 6 each. Now, I'm not surprised that Johnny Sauter did so well, but Brett Moffitt winning 6 races, I did not predict that at all. And I'm so happy about that. I'll talk more about Brett later, but those 2 got the most wins in the Truck Series. On the Xfinity side, I said Christopher Bell will earn 5 wins. I was right for the most part. He did win the most races in the Xfinity Series this year. What I was wrong about was how many. He decided to one-up me, go the extra mile, and he won 7. And side note, I was there when he won one of those races. And I mean, I saw him. Like, I was literally feet away from the driver that won the most races. So hey, Christopher Bell got the job done. And thank you, Christopher Bell, for 2 years in a row now for making me look smart. For a little bit. And then finally on the Cup side, no. I had Ryan Blaney winning 6 times. That's right, this Ryan Blaney. Ryan was 5 short. And nothing against him, but his lone win came from 2 cars wrecking at the finish line. So, I was wrong. I was wrong again. Great. So who did win? It was a tie again between Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch with 8 each. I am not surprised that those 2 won the most. What I was surprised about was how many times those 2 won. So good job, Kevin Harvick and Kyle Busch, and Ryan Blaney, please do better next time. Appreciate it. Alrighty then. Prediction number 5 was my first time winners. This one starts rough, but it does get better. On the truck side, I had 2. Myatt Snider and Dalton Sargent. Unfortunately, Myatt Snider did not win his first race of 2018 this year, but I mean, he did come to compete. He did run fairly well. Myatt Snider did miss out on the playoffs, but he was the last truck to do so. So, he didn't win a race, but he was pretty good. And then the last one, yeah, that one didn't age well. So, that's all I have to say. I'm going to move on. But before I continue on, I do want to mention the truck driver that did earn his first career win. In fact, he earned his first 3 wins. Justin Haley. I completely undersold him. I could not believe that Justin Haley did so good, and because of that, he has an Xfinity ride next year, which I'll talk more about later. But he was the only truck driver to win his first career truck race this year, and it'll be interesting to see how many more will win next year. In the Xfinity Series, I had 2 drivers. First one I said was Matt Tifft, because of his win at Daytona. He didn't earn any wins, but he did have 6 top 5s, and he finished 2nd at Elkhart Lake. So, Matt Tifft was not off, and he has a Cup ride next year, so good for him. The other driver I did say was Ryan Truex. Now, from a stats point of view, Matt Tifft was better than Ryan Truex, and unfortunately, Ryan Truex is out of a ride, at least as I'm recording this, for 2019. It's Justin Haley, who is going to go and replace Ryan Truex in the 11 car in the Xfinity Series next year. So the first time winners in the Xfinity Series include Spencer Gallagher, John Hunter Nemechek, Chase Briscoe, and Ross Chastain. So 4 drivers earned their first career Cup wins in the Xfinity Series, and I think the reason why is because of the limitations of the Cup drivers in the Xfinity Series. We could talk about that, but that's not the focus, that's for a later time. Now, on the Cup side, the way how I said this prediction is, it's kind of like blackjack, the card game. Because you start off and you're rolling well. You got the prediction right, you got the cards right, you're rolling, you're high up, but then you keep going, you keep betting on yourself, and you bust yourself. So this is what I said.
On the Cup side, I would say 2 drivers will get their first career wins. First of all, I would say Eric Jones. I would say he'll win 3 times this season. And then Chase Elliott, he'll get 1 win. It'll be his first career win, it'll be a big win. And I'm gonna say Michigan.
So yeah, Eric Jones and Chase Elliott were the only Cup drivers to earn their first career wins in 2018, which is right, but I decided to be dumb, and I gave more credit to Mr. Jones than I did to Mr. Elliott. On to prediction number 6, and this is the rookies that I have for 2019. Now, this one was going to be a little rough for me regardless, but I was curious to see where this would go. On the truck side, I'm partially right. What I had was Natalie Decker was going to go to the truck series full-time with GMS Racing. She is going to the truck series, but it's part-time with David Gilliland's team. She's also doing work in the ARCA series as well as the Canon series. So it'll be interesting to see how Natalie Decker will continue to develop as a driver and if she's going to be good. Now, as I'm recording this, other than Sheldon Creed, who's going to go into the GMS team next year, I don't know if there's going to be any other rookies. They'll probably announce at a later time, but for right now, all I know is that Sheldon Creed is going to be a rookie next year. Now, in the Xfinity Series, I had my one prediction was correct, and that was Noah Gragson. I predicted that he would go to the Xfinity Series full-time next year. I was right, but I ran my mouth again, and I said that he was going to race for Joe Gibbs Racing. Nope. He has signed on with JR Motorsports, and he's going to drive what I believe to be is the 1 car next year. So good job, Noah, and good luck next year. Now, as I'm recording this, John Hunter Nemechek, Justin Haley, and Greg Goulding are all going to be rookies next year. Just like with trucks, more could be added on, but for right now, we just know that those 3 are. And you can make the argument saying that John Hunter Nemechek isn't really a rookie next year because he technically did get Xfinity points this year, but he did not run the full season. So I would consider him as a rookie next year, but NASCAR has its own rules, and they'll decide whether John Hunter Nemechek will be a rookie or not next year. Now, on the Cup side, yikes. So, the 2 drivers I had were, well, first of all, Christopher Bell. I said that Christopher Bell was going to do a 1-year stint just like William Byron, and he was going to move on to Furniture Row Racing and will be a teammate to Martin Truex Jr. Whoops. That didn't work at all. So, but instead, Christopher Bell is going to be in the Xfinity Series again next year, which is nice because that gives the Xfinity Series a little more of its own identity because it'll have the same drivers, I should say, from last year. The other driver I said was going to be Cole Custer. I thought he was going to move up to Storehouse Racing, but nope. That's not going to happen either. He's staying put in the 00 car, and he will run that series in the Xfinity Series 1 more year. So, 0 for 2 for that. I struck out on that one. I hardly watch baseball, but I think that's the right term. Now, the rookies that are racing next year, as far as I'm recording it, Daniel Hemrick, Ryan Preece, and Matt Tifft. I was not expecting any of them to race in the Cup Series next year. But Daniel Hemrick with Childress, Ryan Preece with JDD Daugherty, and then Matt Tifft with Front Row. I think this will be good. I think having these new drivers implemented with the Cup drivers is going to really spice things up, and I think will give 2019 more of its own unique identity because of it. Besides the rules package, but we could talk about that later. Good luck to them, and I should not say and, because I don't have anything to say after that. But now let's flip the script. Prediction number 7 is who is going to be out of a ride after 2018. On the truck side, I said Grant Enfinger. Now this one is, as I'm recording this, in limbo, because the truck, or Grant Enfinger, nothing's been announced yet on whether Grant's going to be in the Truck Series next year or not. We're just going to have to see. I think he'll be back next year, but nothing's been said or announced yet for him. On the Xfinity side, I said Michael Annett. Now, with the way things are with NASCAR, that is not true. Michael Annett is back, but on the flip side, Elliott Sadler is done. It stinks to see him go. I've watched him compete since the Busch Series years of the late 90s. But at the same time, I'm excited to see what he'll do in his future endeavors, whether that is commentating or whatever. He can do whatever he wants, and hopefully it is a positive impact just on society as a whole. Finally, in Cup, I said Kurt Busch and Trevor Bayne. I was mixed. It was originally thought that Kurt Busch was going to be done, but he has that ride now with Chip Ganassi Racing, so he's good for another year, and he screwed me over with another failed prediction. But Trevor Bayne, as I'm recording this, is out of a ride. Side note, Trevor Bayne was the only driver that I got to meet at Kansas Speedway. So Trevor, it was so great to meet you. I don't think you remember me, but if you do, greatly appreciate it. And If you do get it right, great. Otherwise, like Elliott Sadler, I think you'll do great somewhere out in society. The others that I missed include Casey Kane, Jamie McMurray, and AJ Allmendinger. It's gonna feel awfully weird without having any of them race, but like what the song says, life goes on. Alright, let's get to the fun part. Prediction number 8, which was my playoff drivers. So let's start the truck series, and this is who I had.
On the truck side, in no particular order, I got Matt Crafton, Myatt Snyder, Brett Moffitt, Dalton Sargent, Todd Gilliland. Despite missing the first 3 races of the season, I think he will have one heck of a season in that 4 truck, and because of that, he will get into the truck playoffs. I have Ben Rhodes, I got Johnny Sauter, and I got Noah Gragson. Those are going to be the 8 drivers that will be in the playoffs this year.
So originally in my notes, I had Grant Enfinger being in the playoffs, but I put him out for someone else. And you know who that was? Brett Moffitt. And boy, did I mess up with Dalton Sargent. Ay. I don't even know what he is doing next year, if anything at all. Oh well, on the Xfinity side, this is who I picked.
On the Xfinity side, I have Christopher Bell, Justin Allgaier, Matt Tifft, Ross Chastain, Michael Annett, Ryan Reed, Elliott Sadler, Cole Custer, Austin Cindric, Tyler Reddick, Brandon Jones, and Ryan Truex. Those are going to be my 12 for the Xfinity side.
So I am very proud of this. 11 out of 12 right. The only thing I got wrong was I had too much confidence into Michael Annett, and I had too little confidence in Daniel Hemrick. And you know, Daniel Hemrick, if you're watching this, and Daniel Hemrick's fans, I do apologize for not putting as much focus or attention onto him. He's definitely going to be in my thoughts in my 2019 predictions, and again, I do apologize for not seeing him being so well this year in the Xfinity Series. Now, on the Cup side, here are my predictions.
So here we go. In no particular order, I have Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson, Ricky Stenhouse, Ryan Blaney, Eric Jones, Joey Logano, Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, William Byron, Jimmy Johnson, Chase Elliott, Bubba Wallace, Brad Keselowski, Austin Dillon, and finally, Daniel Suarez. So those are my 16 on there. And I hope I'm right.
So in the end, I got 12 out of 16, right? That's a C, which is, you know, average. So what happened was I thought Stenhouse would do well, but he was underwhelming. But he did. He tried hard at the Coke 0400, don't get me wrong. William Byron, even though it is his first year in the Cup Series, I thought he would do better. Same with Bubba Wallace. I thought he would do better. And Daniel Suarez was close, but no cigar for him. So instead, on the flip side, I did not see Stewart-Haas Racing being so well. Eric Almirola, I would say, is my comeback driver of the year. Kurt Busch doing well, winning at Bristol. And then Clint Bowyer. First time winning a race since 2012. First win, I believe, in the Gen 6 car. So hey, good for all of them. And I am surprised that Bowman did make it in on points. So hey, anything to get into the playoffs, I guess. Okay, so almost to the end now. Let's talk about my final 4. That was prediction number 9. So, in the Truck Series, I had Johnny Sauter, Noah Gragson, Matt Crafton, and Ben Rhodes. 2 out of 4. Now, Matt Crafton, he had some issues at Phoenix, and so that's why Matt Crafton did not make it to the final 4. And then Ben Rhodes was out of the round, the round of 1. No, the first round of the playoffs. So 2 out of 4, that's not bad. Let's move on to the Xfinity Series. Now for there, I had Christopher Bell, Cole Custer, Elliott Sadler, and Justin Allgaier. Again, 2 out of 4. Very disappointed, though, to see Elliott Sadler and Justin Allgaier not make it. They just both did not have the cars good enough at Phoenix. Allgaier had his little fender bender on the new front straightaway. And then Elliott Sadler just did not have a good second round of the playoffs, and thus, because of that, he did not make it to the final 4. Finally, the Cup side. Hide my face in shame. I'm not a fan of my picks. If you don't remember,
I have Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr., Ryan Blaney, and finally, Kyle Larson.
One of the four made it in. Ryan Blaney and Kyle Larson both did not make it to the round of 8. They both failed Kansas, which I was there in person to see, which was absolutely wonderful. Chase Elliott was in the round of 8, but because of a wreck at Phoenix, was taken out. And Martin Truex was the only one that made it in, but he made it in on points. Who ended up going to the Final Four on the Cup side? Kevin Harvick, even though he had his issues at Texas, still made it in on points. Kyle Busch was able to win at Phoenix, and so that's why he made it onto Homestead. And then Joey Logano, of course, with his big win at Martinsville over Martin Truex Jr. Alright, so we've talked about the rounds of 4, so now let's talk about the champion. Who did I have for the champion, and was I right? So the good news is, all of my picks were in the Final Four for each of the series. But how was I? In the Truck Series, I said Noah Gragson, because I thought he would have a better regular season, and thus I thought he would be the for sure pick. He did good. He finished 3rd, but the champion was Brett Moffitt, which I did not pick at all. And it stings because he does not have a ride next year, which stings, but that should not happen. There's no buts about it. Like, it should not happen. You would think you would at least keep his ride. I want to help him, but you know, as a fan, if you want to call it, it's difficult. So anyway, Noah Gragson finished 3rd, and who finished 2nd? Grant Enfinger. So Grant, I apologize for the awful joke that I had in the first predictions video. Not Enfinger at all. I think and I hope you keep going on. And again, I apologize for the terrible joke.
This one's gonna hurt for a while.
On to the Xfinity Series.
That Christopher Bell will not win the race, but he will win the championship at Homestead.
And guys, Christopher Bell's championship hopes officially over. They have a flat right rear tire.
And thus he finished, I believe it was 11th. And so because of that, he had no chance, and Tyler Reddick was the champion. Again, with his dirt experience, Tyler Reddick was able to get the job done on the high side, something that no one else was able to do. And Tyler played his cards right, and because of that, he is your 2018 Xfinity Series champion. And then, on the Cup side, no.
Martin Truex Jr. will win his 2nd championship in the row. And here's my thinking. I think he will keep up his reign on 1.5 tracks. He will have the 2nd most wins in the season. He'll have 5, right behind Ryan Blaney. With the help of, or with the fact that it's now only a single car team, they can take all the best resources from both the cars that they had last year. So Truex will be all the more better. And I don't think Martin Truex lost his groove.
I had Martin Truex Jr. winning the championship. And if you guys saw the season finale, he was going to, but then that caution happened, and he finished 2nd to Joey Logano. Now, again, I have nothing against Joey Logano. He did everything he needed to do to get to the Final Four, and then when Homestead came, he played his cards right and won the championship. It just stinks, though, because that prediction would have been so cool to get right. But unfortunately, it did not happen, and Martin Truex Jr. did not get his 2nd championship, but he finished in 2nd place. Now, yeah, you can go ahead and make the argument and be like, oh, he didn't earn the most points, he didn't earn enough the most wins, he's not your true champion. Just let it go. Joey Logano won the championship, and he did what he needed to do. And you can play the game of what if it was a points championship. Well, the biggest thing that's different is their mentality would be different. And Joey Logano's mentality would be much different if he had to do all the points versus, you know, going through the regular season, getting the playoff points. So you can make that argument all night long, but Joey Logano did what he needed to do to win the championship, and he got it done. Case closed. Let's move on to 2019. Okay? But anyway, in the next week or so, I'm going to make one more video in 2018. It's going to be pretty much just a sit-down conversation, me and you, and we're just going to explain what happened to me in 2018. Why was there less videos? Why was there so much? Thanks for the patience. What the heck happened? And I'm going to get as in-depth as possible. Now, I've had some explanations over the years, and yeah, some of those will be reiterated in this video, but I'm going to go much deeper this time. And the reason why is because I now understand why this year, 2018, was what I would believe to be one of the most frustrating, but one of the most humbling years that I have ever faced. And don't worry, the Summer Showdown is not going away. I am still working on it, with the mix of work, the holidays, and just how much I still need to work on with the Summer Showdown. It is being delayed to January. I wish I could get this done in September, but just with everything going on with just one person, that is me, I just can't do it. We'll talk more about that in the next video, but until then, that'll do it for me. I am not a Swami, but you know, some of my predictions were dead on, so hopefully you can trust me. But until then, for all of my supporters that have helped me and supported me through all these years on my video career, this is Griffdawg saying so long. Until next time.